Hi there. Did you ever feel it's the little things which somehow throw your life into a tailspin before you realize it? Take one little thing like a high school senior, or to pinpoint it, me, there in the coral sweater, an open-toed expression. Then little thing number 2, Jimmy Cushman, a classmate. Little thing number 3 is that bird brain and the shot rod, giving all us high school kids a bad name. That night, when Jimmy phoned to invite me to a movie, what he didn't know was that my father had seen another little thing in the evening paper, and because of it, told me I couldn't go out nights in any of the kids' cars. And you know what that meant. No dates until he changed his mind. Poor me. But the worst thing was what our school principal was threatening to do. Mr. Potter had announced if he had one more complaint about the kids driving, he'd be forced to do what other schools had done. Lock all cars in the school parking lot till after school every day. Well, we couldn't do anything right away because next day, Dad took me to Sacramento. And while he worked, I did some sightseeing. Still worried about Mr. Potter's warning until suddenly I spotted a sharp-looking sports job with a sign on it, which said something about a safety economy run. Naturally, I didn't know what that was, but I knew what the Flying Red Horse stands for. So, later that afternoon, when I bought a local paper and read that the runs were for high schools, I took off for the nearest phone booth, called the oil company, and asked if someone would explain a safety economy run to me. They connected me with Mr. Burton, Ray Burton, up from San Francisco to supervise the run. He said, even though he was about to leave, if I'd come right over, he'd explain it all to me. And was I ever glad I took him up.
Start with, Miss King, we don't put on the runs. You youngsters do it all yourselves. All we do, with a lot of help from 3As and peace officer groups, like the Highway Patrol here in our state, is to show you how to organize a run, then you go ahead and do it.
Oh, but who wins these runs? The driver with the best mileage?
No, although mileage is very important, but these are also safety tests. That's why we donate trophies and the gasoline that's used.
Well, how in the world do you figure the scores?
You get your run organized first. When you're ready, we'll be around to explain it and give you the official observer's report forms. You know, each car carries an adult observer.
Well, with an adult in the car, like a chaperone, it doesn't sound very exciting.
Tell you what, I've got some color movies of runs they've held around the country. If you have the time, I'd love to show them to you.
Well, I've got lots of time.
Good.
I was surprised to see how many schools everywhere had entered past safety economy runs, and how all the faculties pitch in and help. Imagine, just as in the big economy run, all cars are weighed. So, with the 10-mile scoring system, cars of all kinds compete on an equal basis. Now there's a sight, Seattle's floating bridge over Lake Washington. In Portland, a girl walked off with first-place honors. And here at Bakersfield, an engine is being given a last-minute performance check. And not only are the cars weighed, but the passengers are too. Under their scoring system, every last ounce counts. Well, no wonder Bakersfield had all those high-priced cars entered. This country looks richer than Texas. How about that flying red carpet? Bakersfield to Inglewood in 2 seconds flat. And at the end of the run, the time is checked to make certain no car just crawls along to save a few drops of gas. Well, we whiz north again, where you can see how the cars are started at 1-minute intervals. Look at those steaks, supplied by the sponsoring service clubs and served free to all attending the victory luncheon after the run, where they announce the scores and award the trophies. I was sold, and I knew Peninsula High could do the same thing and show our parents, Mr. Potter and the neighbors, that high school kids are good drivers. Mr. Burton invited me to see the Sacramento run next morning. Excitement? Believe me, it was as exciting as a football game. I guess I heard about and saw most everything there. The gasoline and oil are provided by the mobile gas people. And the safety checks to make sure all cars are in top condition, as well as covered by insurance, are continued until the last car is started. Then, numbered stickers are pasted on, and the cars rolled into the street to line up for the start. At 9 o'clock sharp, the first car is sent off, and the next car is rolled up, in turn, to the starting line. There, the assistant starter tolls off the seconds until the next minute is up. And when they had all left, I went with Mr. Burton to drive around the 96-mile course. It was a real kick for me. But most of all, I couldn't wait to get back to San Francisco to see what I could do about whipping up some enthusiasm for a safety economy run of our own. And Monday, after school, I hauled Jimmy over to our favorite malt shop to get started. Not only did I have Jimmy to try to sell, I had to compete with a jukebox and some music with a beat. Look, how many kids in school have cars? 300?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Well, then out of that 300, how many got the rest of us into this jam?
Gee, there couldn't be more than 6 or 8 of those yo-yos shoving around shot rods, making like they're real big men, could there?
That's what I mean. So if you were Mr. Potter...
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, if you were, and a lot of our bunch entered the run and got really good scores, wouldn't you think we're not all goof-offs like Ronnie and Tay and their gang that digs out every time they get into a car?
Well, yeah. But if you can convince your father of that, then I'm with you.
Good. Then let's start making a list of... Uh-oh. Okay, you're vice president of student council. Get to work, because here comes Flash Gordon himself.
Hi, Tay.
Well, what's new and funny, my little bunny?
Tay, listen a minute.
Minute? Man, do you realize in a minute I can go from a standing start to 130 in that little old bomb of mine? Minute.
Tay, we're planning on putting on one of those safety economy runs here at school. Will you and your gang enter if we...
Me? Economy? Of course you're kidding.
The heck we are. It was you and that lead-foot crowd of yours that got us in all this Dutch with Mr. Potter.
Sonny boy, I admit I voted for you for council, but when it comes to cars, you better leave it to the men around here. So get lost, Willie. You're acting mighty silly.
Well, what do you do with a character like that?
Beat his brains out if he had any. But after listening to him, I'm sure you're right, Sharon.
Then you'll help get the show on the road?
If it'll help cut down that squeak, send me in, Coach.
Hey, Sharon, I got a whole committee.
Oh, sure. After twisting my arm.
And my wrist. Not me. I just came along because I think boys are fun. This is a run for automobiles, not boys, you know. Who's running? I just take my trusty shotgun and bang. But if I ever hit one, the game warden usually makes me throw him back in because he's too young. Okay, cut the clowning. Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting of the board of directors is called to order. With Jimmy only reluctantly agreeing to help, the work began. First, to auto shop to see the instructor, Mr. McCutcheon, and ask if he'd head up the faculty end. He said he would if Mr. Potter agreed. Mr. Potter? He was the principal who was threatening to lock up all the kids' cars. Well, seeing we needed some assistance, we called Mr. Burton, who had returned to his San Francisco office, and he agreed to talk to our principal. After all the trouble Mr. Potter had had because of the few kids like Tay, who make a racetrack of the streets, it's no wonder he didn't take to the request at first. But after Mr. Burton gave him a few facts and figures, he said okay, and gave us permission for Mr. Burton, highway patrol officers, and me to address an assembly. Get me, a big shot, a public speaker yet. Next day, to get sign-ups, I guess Jimmy and I answered almost every kind of question. Like, a run is usually over a course of about 100 miles, which we'll lay out with the 3As and the highway patrol. That any student with a valid driver's license may enter, driving any standard type of car. And that to make it a test of good driving habits, observers go along and give penalties of 1/10 of a gallon for each infraction of a traffic law, if any. Jimmy and I did fine. 24 kids signed up the first day, and we were real proud as we went to the malt shop to meet Mr. Burton. He thought we'd done a bang-up job. In fact, he teased us. Maybe he'd give us a job, selling gas and oil, door to door. Big joke. Then, when he heard we hadn't gotten any other schools in, he warned us that in a city this size, with only one school entered, the run could be a flop. Having seen our sad sack faces, next day Mr. Burton was waiting for us in front of school. He had news for us. The company had agreed to award another trophy to help get other schools in. A sweepstakes trophy to be awarded to the school getting the best team score. Were we ever thrilled? With the old school spirit working for us, it would be a cinch. Next day, we told Mr. McCutcheon our good news, but found he'd already gotten 4 other schools to enter. And then he told us we were the ones who'd have to make talks to the service clubs to ask if they would provide the observers we'd need and the victory luncheon. Jimmy threw in the sponge, and I threw the book at James. If Mr. McCutcheon hadn't calmed us down, Jimmy and I still wouldn't be talking. But then we got more help from Mr. Burton. He went to the 3As, saw Mr. Moore, and they agreed they'd both help us get speaking dates, which they did. We both went over like a house afire until I called on the chairman of another club to ask if I could address his next meeting. And, well, that's just about it, Mr. Scott. So if you'll put me on as a speaker at your next luncheon meeting, I promise I'll tell all about the run in 3 minutes flat.
No, I'm sorry, Miss King. Our club isn't interested in races or competitions of any kind where youngsters your age risk their necks in cars.
But it's not a race, it's...
You did say that the cars had to be back in a specified time, didn't you?
Well, naturally. Otherwise, you could crawl along.
Exactly. Young lady, you're just wasting your time. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about using my influence to see that your entire project is canceled.